All right, so we went over these directions in class. You guys should have this sheet at your table. I'm just going to show you guys a basic pinch pot and how to form geometric and organic forms. So when you guys grab clay from the bucket, you won't need your whole piece. So you tear off a chunk, and we want the ball to be around 2 inches in diameter. So when I'm looking at this ruler here, I'll just place my finger up. I know I want to go to 13. That's about the right size right there. And then we're just going to form it, and it's going to be small to start off with. And both of these pieces were made from that 2-inch piece. And I'm just going to form a ball of clay. Continually, if I have little wrinkles, I'm going to rub my finger over the top of it, roll it in my hands. I don't want to roll it on the table because that paper is actually going to steal the moisture out of the clay and make it crack when I actually try to form it. So spend some time doing that. I already made one, so I have one ready to go. So now I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to press it straight down in the middle. And when I'm pinching, I want to keep my fingers straight up and down. You guys can see the difference in these two pieces. One is skinnier and taller and one's wider. So the wider one, my fingers were angled outward, okay? So it's tapered, angled at outward like that. And then this one, I want to keep them straight up and down. So depending on what form you want to make, I even kind of squeeze as I press this with my other hand to kind of keep that form molded. So you can change the form as you go. So I'm going to press my thumb straight down, and then I'm going to do what I call duck fingers. So they're flat and not claws. If I do claws and I pinch through and you show me your pinch pot and you say, Mrs. English, can you help me? Nope, you just have to start over. Okay, so if you pinch through the wall, re-wedge and start over. So what I'm doing right now is just focusing on this bottom part, and I'm just slowly pinching and turning. And I'm not pinching a lot at once. Okay, so the walls are still pretty thick. Now it's starting to go more bowl-like, so I'm going to put pressure with this hand while I'm pinching, and that's going to bring my walls upward. Once they're out, it's difficult to bring it back in. So you have to kind of shape it as you go. So I'm going to work it so it's on the top. I'm going to check my other layers. Make sure that this bottom part right here also gets pressed so it's not too thick. This is a small pinch pot, so you guys will be able to reach all sides of it. Okay, and we want this to be between 1/4 and 3/8 inch thick. So right now, I think I'm at about 1/4, and I'm sorry, let's go with 1/4. That'll work for this size. The bigger the pinch pot, the thicker walls we want. So then right now my top is kind of uneven and wavy. So I'm gonna tap the top, establish a bottom by tapping the bottom. So you can see that I flattened out the bottom. Okay, and then if I'm shaping from here, if I'm doing an organic shape, I can shape it while it's plastic. If I'm doing geometric, I want to let it get a little bit more leather hard. But you notice that the walls are not perfect. We learned how to create good craftsmanship on our last piece. So what you can do is take a flat metal scraper, and before we shape, we can kind of smooth out these walls. So I'm not just scraping it with a flat scraper. I can go this way a little bit flat, but then I can curve it and put some pressure on it. If you struggle doing that, you can set it down, put your flat metal scraper flush with the table, curve it, and then pull up. And I'll show you the difference in the wall, so you can see that it's a lot smoother on that outside. For the inside, we can't take the flat metal scraper because it's too big to fit on the inside, so I put a little bit of water on my hands, and then I'm just smoothing the inside. One other thing that you can do is take a little bit of water on the inside of your pinch pot, and then slowly apply pressure on the table so it's rolling. So I have water on my hand, so that way my fingers smoothly run along the inside walls, and that does even it out a little bit. If one side of your wall is thicker than the other, it's going to build up, and you can also trim off if you guys need to trim off a little bit. So I know this side's going to be a little bit taller. Every time I pinch it, it's going to keep that height. So I'm just going to trim off a little bit, tap it, and then I want to trick the viewer's eye into thinking my entire pinch pot is even. So in order to do that, I just need to even out that top part. So I put a little bit of water on it and turn it. So I'm going to get a little bit closer. So think of your fingers like molds, and I'm just going to work one section at a time. And we want to make sure that the thickness matches. So if I have a spot that's thin, I need to make the entire space match that thinness, or if it's too thin, here's something else you can do. So for example, let's say I get a dent on accident right here and I want to fix it. I'm going to take a little bit of water, put it over the surface. Then I have a little chunk of clay. I'm going to have to set this down. I'm going to roll it in a ball because I don't want this to be wet and slippery. So I put water over the surface, and because we're blending it in, we don't have to score and slip. We'll go over scoring and slipping when we add your feet. But that's how I can fix imperfections in my wall. Now I can pinch and you'll notice that it builds up that wall again. So I might need to trim a little bit more off the top. And then I'm just going to continue on evening out the lip of the wall. So once this lip is even, then you can go about shaping. So I had you guys create 3 sketches. Okay, so we can keep it circular and add feet to it. We would just want to perfect it. We can work with geometric shapes. So I'm going to show you how to do that. This one I put over on our heater vent back by the windows for about 5 minutes. So it stiffened it up a little bit. So that way when I'm trying to shape it, it'll hold the shape and not just go back into that plastic state. So if I know I want a square, I'm just going to tap it on the table and I'm going to tap 2 sides opposite each other. Then I'm going to tap the other 2 sides to get a basic shape, making sure my bottom doesn't get too messed up. So I'm going to tap it again until I get the form that I want, because right now when I'm looking at this, it's still a little lopsided, so I need to tap that corner a little bit more. This is the same process if you want to do a triangular piece. You would just tap 3 sides evenly. Then I'm going to tap the top to even out my rim, tap the bottom. Now I want sharper corners on it, so I'm going to pinch with my fingers. And then I'll show you how to use the scraper to get a precise corner and an edge. So I'm just going to pinch that edge on all 4 sides. Okay, then I can take a flat metal scraper, and I like to have my pot facing down, but I'll zoom in so you guys can see this. So I'm going to scrape my flat side on one side and the other. I don't want to curve my scraper for this because I do want a flat side. So I'm just going to go back and forth, and you can see how that's starting to create a crease right there. And then there's a dip in my wall, so I need to push that out. You can hold it in your hand and continue scraping so your walls are flush. And we need to do this before we can start adding our design to it, because it's too difficult to fix the walls once we have our designs in it. Okay, and then I need to pinch a little bit more, and you repeat that process on all of your sides to get that geometric, sharp corner, straight line form that we're looking for. Okay, so that's how you get your geometric form. If I want to create a little picture from this, because in my design, I added a lip here, I want to do it when it's plastic. So if I have a lot of shaping, I'm going to do it when it's plastic. I'm going to add some water to the wall and just slowly pinch a little bit, but start to press that out. If you want to add a lot of waves to your wall, you would do it when it's plastic as well, and you have to have water. You just can't pull on the clay because it's going to end up tearing. So now I can kind of add my edges on here, even out my lip, and continue. Now before you guys carve any designs into the side, make sure that it's leather hard before you do that. You want it slightly leather hard before you add the feet, and that's a whole other video. And now I have my teardrop shape, my organic form. I could also keep my circular form as an organic form as well. Okay, and then the options for you guys on the sheet, review those and make sure that you check off and go through each one of those for the requirements, because you're going to be making 3 pieces and each one of those will have different elements to them.